All right, welcome to Roleplay Cafe. We're today to enjoy our second playtest session of Dark Age of Man. I'll be the director of this round, and Jason's the protagonist. So, anyway, without further delay, we'll jump in here and do this. All right, Jason, your character first.
I am Brother Arnold of the Sacred Mother Temple, 19 years old, grew up an orphan in the temple, and so I don't know much about the outside world. I have been sent out basically to try to help do what I can in the name of God and on behalf of the Sacred Mother Temple. I am a peasant, destitute. My body is 1. My mind is 0. My spirit is a 2, and my prestige a 0. I have poor grade mace, poor grade armor, poor grade shield.
Okay. Tell us why you're stepping onto the rotted plank in a muddy intersection as you look around and there's nothing but ruins of a once habitation that looks like it's been torn away by some kind of a wretched flood that swamped the area. Trees are overturned. You see nothing but their root systems halfway up into the air. You do see a anvil halfway buried in the mud, sticking up. There's wagon wheels covered up. Posts of previous buildings that have jutted up, and just awash continually away from the area. You see nothing but rabble and strewn, littered landscape that's been torn away with all these, with a lot of the trees and foliage and everything that's been overturned. You could just tell something came through this recently here, but the waters have receded. Obviously, okay. There seems to be a lake over to your to the west of you that runs peaceably. There looks to be the remnants of some kind of a ferry crossing there, which indicates that possibly was a township or a hamlet at most. So
I have traveled for days from the south, from the Baron von Mort's land, sent by Sister Mary out north to help and try to convert as many as I can to the one God, the Sacred Mother Temple.
Okay.
And
give me a
Dredgewater was supposed to be here. This is an ill omen.
Okay.
What you wanted me to roll? What?
Just give me a mind roll. Okay. Okay.
Flood number 2.
Okay. There is, as you stand looking out over the plank, you hear a vacuuming, suctioning swell, and then you see this humongous sinkhole develop right in the middle of it. It's pretty much right off of about 5 foot away in front of you.
Okay.
But it extends probably about 20-foot radius in all. And
so
you watch
the earth just drops away.
Yeah, you hear and see all the like there was water, and it's almost like you hear and feel underneath you the vibrations of all the water sinking down real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a big mud collapse and it just drops down.
Okay.
No more than like you're 5 foot standing off of it. You almost,
Yeah, I dive back onto my butt in the mud and the muck and backpedaling, dragging myself away from this sinkhole as fast as possible.
Okay.
Good Lord, what hell on earth has befallen Dredgewater?
All right. There's sounds still issuing inside of there,
Mm-hmm.
and you can still hear and still feel almost the ground vibrations as things fall and drop even further and tumble down deeper into.
For it is the mouth of hell opens before me. Again, I slide away from it, stand in case more of it starts to go. I work away from
and
it.
Indeed, certain ends just start collapsing too and sliding down. At this time, I want you to roll spirit.
Oh, 3. Nice.
Okay. You do sense that while you're trying to back up, your feet is slipping in the mud. It seems to be more so than even the plank is lifted up and shifted away.
Right.
And you turn, out the corner of your eye, you turn around and there's this mudslide that's
starting to go.
Yes.
Okay.
Starting to go. I need you to roll body.
Okay, here we go. Oh, I have one body. I rolled an 11, so I don't know what your CV is, but I rolled an 11.
Okay.
So 0, I make it.
Yeah, you're fine. It was 0.
Okay.
I just had you flat. Okay.
Nice.
But
scrambling up in the mud and the muck. Whoo!
Yeah. You finally get some kind of purchase on. It seems that a tree that is right there and is stubbornly resistant. Thick root systems. It's still there. It's halfway tilted over, almost about to fall into the mud and be taken away with it. And you can scramble up that tree and at least hold on to it as the mud flows hard around you, going right back toward the end. All right.
I hold tight, tired, muddy, sweating, and I'll wait as long as I can until this all settles and the noise calms. And listen carefully if I hear anything. When and if this stops.
Yeah. You're just holding on for dear life. It takes about 10 minutes whole told. You expect it very rapidly, and you see it slide down, and then the mud peters out and stops sliding. The mud has slid down off of an incline and out into the forest as Dredgewater kind of sits low.
Yep.
And it's broken loose and slid all the way down there, and you could tell, you could hear it first go really deeply into the sinkhole, and it starts to fill it up somewhat.
Right, gotcha. Right. So it's actually the ground is evening out.
Exactly, gotcha. Exactly. So you managed to hold on to that, right. And it's still a watery, nasty mess below you. You can look down and see all the insects and crawling amongst all the brambles and leaves and everything, just awash in the mud mixture. And
now I know why Sister Mary sent me here. Dredgewater was in need of spiritual guidance. The temple here, the church here of Father Tetre must have been weak in its allegiance to the Lord. I will wait until, again, everything settles, and I'll try to get my footing and get up to the most even ground, and then look over what used to be Dredgewater, the river to the right, west, and look if there's any people, any movement, any smoke in the distance where there might be somebody camping, cooking. Try to get my bearings, as Dredgewater is no more, and I cannot go back to Sister Mary.
As you survey the area from your perch clung to the tree, you see indeed it's getting later in the evening. It's about 5 o'clock, I would say, ish. Okay. And this is now it was fall right?
Yeah, early fall. Early
Gotcha,
fall.
gotcha, gotcha.
Right.
Early fall, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's starting to darken a little bit. There's a chill in there,
Mm-hmm.
um, but you do see the tendrils of some kind of a what you would guess would be a smoke fire
Mm-hmm.
off in the distance. It's
North? Which
further.
direction?
It's further. It's further south. Uh, you came from south going up
Yeah,
north.
up from Von Mort's land.
Yeah, so it is southwest off across the river.
Oh, on the
And
other
you
side of the
see,
river.
yeah, you see a little
Okay.
tendril coming up, somewhat in the wood line, even though that area has been affected too. And there's you could tell a lot of us just
Mm-hmm.
brambled mess.
From where I'm at, I mean, I can see how the breadth of the Dredge River. I'm not. I
Yeah,
do. If I don't see a boat or something available, I'm not going to try to swim dredge.
yeah,
Right.
no, yeah. As far as I know, you're still up in that tree, right?
Well, yeah, I'm holding on to it like I was. I just tried to climb up, so I'm kind of can almost sit on it.
Okay.
Right. Well, because you
Um,
say it's like leaned over, I might have climbed up and put a leg over it, where I'm kind of
yeah,
sitting on it,
yeah. You kind of straddle it
and
a
I'm
little
looking
bit.
around. Mm-hmm.
You do see that when you're looking off in the distance. Give me a mind check.
Okay. Ooh, critical error.
Critical error.
2-0.
Okay. Now you hear it at this time because you're on it and the tree's halfway up like that, right?
Shit.
It starts to crack and like that, and all of a sudden it just drops right underneath you. The branches, I mean the root system comes
Right.
up and it slams down into the mud. It's like 3/4 of the way in this mud. And it was
Right.
big, a big oaken tree.
Okay.
And all of a sudden it starts to shift and roll like that.
Slide. So
Yeah,
I'm riding
rolling
it.
it, sliding it.
I'm
Yes,
riding it
exactly.
down.
And it's turning.
Oh
Um,
Lord, Lord, you have forsaken me, driving me into the hole of Dredgewater.
Okay. Uh, you're going it's almost a faster clip because you was very close to that edge of that
Mm-hmm.
when I mean the tree was.
Mm-hmm.
So it's starting to tilt right now and cock up,
Mm-hmm.
like a ship about to go straight down into this area.
Okay.
Even though it's somewhat filled, it's still a big slush. So
Yeah,
that's what
I would attempt to dive to my right, off of it, let it go, and try to stay out of this sinkhole.
yeah, go ahead.
Body, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, 17. Clumsy Brother Arnold. Yes.
Yeah. When you jump off, you try to grab it and you're digging in and it's just like quicksand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're halfway, you're trying to dog pedal against this thing that's filled up. You're trying to keep your head up. All right.
Okay.
So you're sliding straight down a stool and then you go off the edge of this thing
Okay.
right beside the tree as it's going down. And you fall right into it. Okay.
Okay.
Now you fall for a little bit of time. I want you to roll me a body again.
Uh-oh. 1 critical success.
1.
Finally.
Okay.
Finally.
Now you do happen to when this tree is going over, you have to grab a hold of the tree. The tree's sliding down and it slams into the other side. It was a very large tree, right?
Right.
So when it's sliding over, it comes down and the root system, the bunch of the root system hits up against the other side of the
Okay.
other side of the sinkhole. And I must get stopped there while all the mud comes around and encases that one side. It starts to go down. Well, the tree is kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuck halfway like that, and you happen to be on it
Right.
on the branches.
Okay.
It re-grabbed it and cooned it.
Okay.
So that's what's happening now, and the mud's still sliding. The tree.
So
you feel
it's
it.
making like a tree bridge across the sinkhole.
Yeah, and it's somewhat down in it, but it's
Sure.
been
So
pushed.
I'm standing on this tree bridge.
Yeah,
How
exactly.
how high to the earth above me to get out of
Now,
this?
well, I mean, as far as the top of the tree, it's still going out of the sinkhole.
Okay.
A lot of the tree is still in there with the root system that got
Okay.
hung up on the other side.
Okay.
So
Then I will slowly, very carefully set my pack down on the tree, pinch it between my knees, get my rope out, put the backpack back on, and I'll put the rope down around the tree and around me, and I'll start trying to climb up, but using this rope, right, as I shimmy up, tight,
Okay.
holding
I
this
want you to
rope
roll
tight.
and see it because right now it's very precarious.
Hmm.
This bridge set is. So roll me a body.
11, body 1, so 10 if it's a CV0.
Yeah, you can. You make it up there to almost the top as you're reaching up. Now, when your head breaks over the layer of the ground,
Ooh.
you hear something hits your ear, and you hear a voice. Help! 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 Okay, and it's off a little bit to your left,
Okay.
somewhat.
To the west. Okay, I climb off of this tree onto the firm ground, grab my rope, coil it back up, stick it, attach it back to my pack,
Okay.
and start moving slowly and carefully in the direction of this
Okay. Yeah, you're
noise.
stepping into the mud.
Yeah,
Right when you step off, you can get a little further along the tree to get more onto
right.
a little bit more solid ground. It isn't because everything's sliding off around that tree.
Hmm.
But when you get a little further in, you recognize a little bit of land that has a little bit more foothold for you. You step off into it, it's still just the mud sinks down to like almost your knee.
Right.
And so when you're pulling it out, there's a big suction.
Yeah.
Okay. You hear that again. And you look over naturally from where the voice is, in this direction you're heading anyway. You see someone half covered, and you see a shoulder and an arm out trying to grasp, and half the head out, and it's covered like that. All right.
Okay.
It's totally sunk in this mud. All right.
Okay.
There is a arm, and there seems to be some kind of a weapon, not that far away from it, and some kind of a little armored patch mail-esque guard.
Okay.
All right.
I go over to it as fast as I can. Grab the hand. This guy's arms half out. I'll grab him like this and tuck it in and come down close to their face, pushing mud away from their face and ears, and whisper to them, "It is okay. I am here on behalf of our Lord and on behalf of the Sacred Mother.
Okay.
Your first calm. Your name is."
And his you can tell his eyes and his ears are clogged with everything. If you've wiped some off, he's mainly choking from it, but he spits up.
Okay.
My name is Creel. And then he grasps and tries to grasp onto you like that, like to try to pull himself out. You know what I mean?
Calm now, Creel. Are you blessed by our God? Are you saved in the sight of our Lord and the Sacred Mother?
I need help. Save me, yes.
Yes. So I stand back, stand up, keeping grip on his lone hand, and start to work my rope out, and I'll latch it around his, I'll try to tie it around his, his shoulder and his head, right, and cinch it up, and then I'll start to move again farther away from the sinkhole, trying to get where there's less deep mud. And once I get there, I've let the rope out. I'm not pulling him. I'm letting the rope out. But when I get to a spot where there's some good firm ground, then I'll start to pull the rope to me.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a body on that.
Okay. 8.
Okay. All right. Well, you actually get a foothold, and at first, whenever you're pulling, your feet go down deeper into the mud. It feels like you're getting no purchase. But yet you could tell there's this big either clump of mud, solid mud in there, or some kind of a rock that you find footing on. And you turn around and leverage on your shoulder, and he's holding on to it, it looks like you don't know if he's passed out at this time right now. He stopped grabbing the rope or whatever, and you're pulling, and his body moves a little bit out, probably about 6 inches out of the mud. Okay. But you're on a little bit of a rise right there, and you got length. I want you to roll again to see if you can.
Okay. 11.
11. Okay. You get him about halfway out before that that rope is around around his neck, and his thing, it slips up right there and slips tight, and you can see his head. It almost makes a snapping sound. It snaps back, and it pins his arm or whatever like that, and then you could tell he just drops limp in the rope and in the mud, but he's about halfway out.
Okay. I'll when I feel him, his body limp. I'll let slack in the rope. Is there something I can latch this rope to around close?
Yeah.
I'll just kind of make an impromptu lassoing of my end of the rope around that, and then I'll make my way down the rope to him. When I get there, I'll pull open an eye, reach and check to see if he's got a pulse, and of course I'll say prayers on behalf of his wretched soul as I do this.
Okay, you make it over crawling through the mud to be, have your body out a little bit more. Roll your spirit.
Yes, 9.
9. Okay, all right. Actually,
my spirit's 12. My spirit's 2.
You have a faint pulse from him, and you can tell he's kind of disjointed. It looks like maybe his arms pulled out of socket a little bit, and he's faintly moaning. His breathing is really shallow.
Okay.
Until he's ingested some of this.
Sure. Sure.
Even in his lung. Okay. At this time, you hear what seems to be voices off a little bit in the distance too, and they're going, Krill, where are you? All right.
Okay. I'll stand up, and yell in that direction. Krill is here! Krill is here! And I'll wave, looking.
You see what looks to be two figures with swords, short swords, and shields, and not much in the way of armor, all that much. Just kind of padded up. It's similarly to him. They do have the little head pieces of armor, and they're walking through, and they was doing like that, and then they notice you, and they're like that, and then they start making their way, but you can tell they're fighting through the mud too. It may take them a second to get there. All right.
Once I see that they've seen me and they're responding, I'll go back to helping him. I'll drop down. I'll try to get his body fully out of the mud. I might even roll him over on his stomach and try to push out some mud, on him.
Yeah.
Trying to force him to cough up mud or whatever.
Yeah. All right. When you do that, I want you to roll me a mind.
7. Hot dog.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You actually massage him a little bit and do some pulmonary stuff and get him he starts coughing up everything and even bile, and ends up throwing up after all the mud comes out. Right. And he falls back, and a little while when they're running up on the situation, Krill, and they're getting around him too, and he's halfway up to his waist, and this stuff's still buried. And get him up, and they're grabbing his arms like that, right? Which one of them's still disconnected out of the socket, and they're pulling to try to get him up and rest him up, right? He just his head's lolling around and his eyes are open. They just popped open right there. They manage together to pull him out, even though he groans crazily whenever they do finally pull him out with his arm like that and roll over to the side. Krill, we warned you not to go off. Now Krill's probably, you'd say he's a younger man, probably in his early 20s.
Okay.
They seem to be about the same.
Okay.
All right. But what got in your fool head to do this? We told you there was nothing here to be got. And if it was buried under a ton of mud. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they're doing, and they're shaking him up. And then they turn around and look at you. Who be you?
I am but a passing man of God. I was coming to Dredgewater to do my part on behalf of the church and found there is no Dredgewater. I heard your friend and I've tried to dig him out.
This is what is this what he says, Krill? And they're slapping him. Is this the truth? He says. He did not harm you, did he? And they're searching about him or whatever. Like one of kind eyes you suspiciously. Go and roll your prestige.
Okay. 17.
Okay. He kind of scours at you. You're dirty. You're filth covered.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
yeah, I'm clearly a peasant.
Yeah, you're clearly a peasant, right? Me thinks you were you took advantage of Krill. Maybe you jumped him. And then one of them's saying this, and one of them's getting up from being down after he stands up from Krill, and he's starting to pull his sword out to empty your pockets. Check him. Does Krill still have what he does he have his gear? I don't see his gear anywhere.
If it is coins you look for, I have not. And I pull my backpack off, set it on the mud in front of him. I'd say, you will find no coins upon me. I have but this old mace, and I'll plop it in the snow, in the mud, and swing off this shield and drop it to the ground and say, the good Lord will take care of me. You can see that I have nothing of any more value than you yourself carry, and your friend Krill won't be able to testify on my behalf as he is partially conscious.
Okay. At this time, you hear he's saying that, and old boy's still looking at you. He's starting to. I want you to roll again. It's going to be a little bit contested on the prestige.
Okay. 11.
Okay. He softens a little bit. All right. And in doubt, he starts to lower his. These are hard times. We've suffered much. If you're indeed from the church, maybe you could help us. And then at this time, you hear a guttural, and then that tree you hear go, and the tree you was on, and it branches and slides down.
Okay.
As it's sliding down, you see this emaciated arm come out and slap in the mud from the pit, and then it starts dragging across.
Okay.
And then another one, and then you see a few of these. It appears to be bodies or arms of something coming out. They're not armored. They're not anything. And then they start pulling themselves along up through the mud, right?
Okay.
And when the head, the supposed head, comes up over that, I say supposed because there's one of them with like half of the skull gone.
Okay.
And there's some rotted tissue spilling out and mud covered at that. And they be dripping mud all about them. But when they come out, there's
I don't know who you men are, and I'll kick my shield up and onto my arm, grab my mace out of the mud. I don't know who you men are, but from the hell of Dredgewater come these creatures. Defend yourselves.
They're standing there shocked. Well, what is that? What is that? And they're shaking like this, and all of attention is Krill as they drop him. The other one stands up and drops him fully off of his lap to where he'd been trying to resuscitate him. Krill falls into the thing. You can tell us he's just laying there looking up at the skies. The other two, they're starting to slowly draw their swords and point toward him. There are several of these things crawling out of this pit on either side. All right. So far as the limbs coming up, it appears to be 5 of these things.
Okay.
crawling out that you see right now that you can get a good head count or half a head count on if they're crawling out.
If you want to save your friend.
They're man-sized, yeah. They're crawling on their hands and knees. One of them's already half up and shambling out of the pit, and they're crooked and walking toward you and out of this pit like that with these long, drawn-out moans. It's already starting to get a little bit darker, and they're striking contrast to,
Sure.
to the landscape. And what behind them is the sun's going down, and you can see death approaching.
I step forward yelling, we will send you back to the Sacred Mother, and charge him, shield in front, with my mace, and charge the closest one, trying to bash his already partially destroyed skull in.
Okay. I want you to roll 1 second.
Whoa, what's that?
Okay. Roll a roll. See what happened.
Okay, combat's a 1. 8. So
Okay.
I would have had 1 to 11 depending on their CV, but 8 is my roll.
Okay, you got it.
So charge in. It moving slow and clearly not being as alert as I, the young devout Brother Arnold. I will drive this mace right into his torso, aiming for his head. I may not get his head completely. I may hit him in the collarbone, etc.
Yeah, if you hit him in the collarbone, it cracks. You can tell it cracks. His head falls over to the side, toward the side, and it's reaching and grasping toward you. It's covered in mud. It's a little bit sluggish. You notice yourself when you ran up onto it that it had only gotten probably maybe about 10 foot away from this hole itself. And the air in the land here is really soft, so you got to watch your step. All of us know that, and your feet.
Right.
The ground is just suction your feet down like that.
Right. As it paws for me, I'll pull my right foot out of the mud and kick it in its chest, trying to push it away. 3. Bam.
3. Okay. You kick it away. It twists and fall back and hits the ground, and then it starts sliding on the mud cascade that it just made in the wake. Okay. And you see it disappear off the edge of that. There are still the others have turned their attention toward you, you being the closest, and they're still reaching out. And it just wails and everything like that.
I will charge into the next closest, yelling to these two, "You need to grab your friend and drag him to safety now!" And I'll go for the next nearest one. Oh, critical error though.
Critical error. Okay. As you're turning around, telling these guys to run, and they're kind of still, like stock still with what to do, like on the fence about whether to run forward or leave. Obviously perplexed about your actions, so they start reluctantly. The one who would question you bends down and starts picking Krill up. The other one is looking like that, still kind of whatever. You're looking at them, beckoning them to go. Whenever this other thing reaches over and strikes into your side, okay? Grabbing you. And he's reaching on to you, trying to latch onto you.
Okay.
All right, with his mouth. And he
2 wounds or 1 wound? What?
1.
1 wound?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm at 5. I yell out again as I, at this point, drive the mace into his ribs, uppercut with the end of this mace into this creature's ribs as hard as I can, yelling to them, "You need to evacuate." 9.
Okay. All right. When you swing up, you crack into the ribs. You feel it hit and then hollow out. You hear the suction of the mud and everything go up inside the cavity of the hollow lung cavity and whatever. And he bends over, half cracks over like that. He's still latched onto you, but he's curling around almost or he's pirouetting around your body as he's going down, and he's trying to take another bite.
Okay.
All right.
And I pull it from, and I come over the top onto the crown of his head with the pommel of my mace.
Okay.
5.
Oh,
bash!
And you do right in there. You see his head just give way almost, and in the mud just goes like that. He's like that, and his jaw slides to the side, and his head just kind of rolls, and then he flops into the mud.
Okay.
And it starts being carried off into the mud. You're having to constantly back
Sure,
up.
right. We're on like a moving mud sheet. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little bit quicker for them.
I will continue to backpedal and turn my energy to the third closest one. I've just dispatched these two, and I'm looking as I look at them. At this point, if one is still in shock, I'm just focusing on these creatures. I'm done telling these morons what to do.
Yeah, well,
Right.
you're going into battle, but you do hear the other one.
Okay.
Just roll for him. Okay. You hear him charge, and he's running, but he's not getting any kind of ground because of the mud.
4 for him.
Running toward another one. Yeah. Bam.
4
Okay.
for
When
him.
he runs in, he swings his sword, and it just impacts the other dude. All right.
Okay.
I mean the other manifestation, whatever you're fighting, right?
Sure.
And it cleaves halfway in. You see his sword get stuck in there, and he rips it out like that, and he's taking another swing.
All right, and I step across to follow suit. As he crosses my path and waylays this, I'll step in with my mace, backhanding this creature. 20, critical error again for me.
Critical error, and you see as you're stumbling backwards, and you this thing I said, he was pirouetting around your thing. He bites on the back of your thigh.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Your exposed thigh, and you just scream. You reflexively go into a fetal position, trying to push him off the back of your thing, and you could tell he's sunk in. All right. Now you start to feel very nauseous. Roll your spirit for me real quick.
Okay. 2 spirit. Ooh, 19.
You feel you've never felt so far away from the mother.
Oh, good Lord.
And your body is like, it's almost like your mind is trying to, it's revolted by your body right now. And you feel dirty, nasty. You don't feel blessed at all. You feel corrupted. It's like a very foreign feeling for you because you fought corruption your whole life, and these vile creatures. I need to ask you though, do you have any kind of? I know we don't as yet have but do you have a holy symbol or anything?
I don't have one in the rule book, nor in the. I think there's one in the item list in the rule book, but I'm not carrying one.
Yeah, well, I'm saying like as far as that.
I would probably have a cross, like a wooden cross that hangs around my neck, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that wasn't seen before, and as you're struggling with it, you feel it break loose off of your neck, and it falls in the mud and starts sinking. All right. This thing's still on you, still latched on.
Yeah. And at this point, desperation, a feverish desperation to destroy this thing. I'll start trying to hit it as best I can as it's biting my thigh.
Okay. Now I'm gonna roll for your buddy over there.
Okay.
First.
He gets an 8.
Okay. He ends up turning around. He smacked it in the neck. He turns around and swings it again and smacks the other leg, and it just like crack, and then the leg gives way. It tumbles over into the mud, and then just kind of rolls in the mud and off of him. He falls on his butt, and he's trying to back up. He looks over at you, and he sees that thing on you, and he's running over there right now as you're trying to push this thing off, and he's going to try to cleave it away as you're attempting to do that.
And I'm trying to crush it with my mace. 5.
Okay. So you hit it with the mace and roll for him one more time.
Roll for the man.
Yeah.
A 6. Hot damn.
Okay. Well, he just adds insult to injury. As you hit it with the mace, you crack the skull, It breaks away from your legs. It seems to be some teeth are still embedded in your wound. You feel like the puncture mark's still there, and he just automatically cleaves one of the arms off, and it slowly just slides off that lower section of your body in the mud. And he's grabbing your arm. Now there's been one more that had came up out of the things. So there's still two. You see one looming over his shoulder.
Okay.
Right now, about to hit.
In a fog of again, I feel like the mother. I feel like God has abandoned me, so I'm not. I'm too foggy headed to pray. Right, I'm thinking just survive.
Right. Negative one spirit in mind right now, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking just to survive. So I might even mumble out, blurt out. To him behind you as I swing the mace, to hit this creature that's coming in on him.
Okay.
8. I think 8 still does it though. I don't know. 8.
Yeah, it does. It does. But barely. Okay. That was what needed and below. anyway.
Poof! I hear all. Get
out of the way.
Caves in its chest.
He had leaned down over you, and the thing was coming over to bite into his neck and climber onto him, but you managed to buttress it side of the head, and it knocks over, stumbles in the mud a little bit, and to the side, and with a splash, almost on top of the other one, is just sliding away from you.
Okay.
Roll for him one time.
11.
Okay. 11. He's not quick enough or mindful enough. He was focused on you.
Okay.
He's got this look of horror at your leg and these things that are just being torn away from it, in that area. But yeah, that's all he does. He doesn't get a swipe on it or anything. He's what's happening here? What's happening here, brother? Can't you do anything? And he's trying to lift you up. All right.
I will help him lift me up. And at this point, again, still groggy headed, mumbling, we must kill them. We must kill them.
There's another one right behind it. The one still on the ground that he had knocked down is trying to crawl toward y'all right now. He's really close.
Okay.
There's another one looming right over the other guy's shoulders, probably about 5 foot away.
Okay. I will, again, the one I just batted, I'll, again, try to bat as he's helping me up, like onto my feet away from it.
Yeah. These guttural wells are just...
5.
Okay. You swing over and you smash it, and it almost like crumbles right in the center, and the head rolls back off, gets caught up in the mud, spins away from it, the rest of the body slide off. But the other one is coming after him. I want him to roll for a mind, just on a blank level.
14.
Okay, he does it. All right, so he isn't mindful about his current situation while he's trying to tug you up. All right, roll, see if you can do anything.
I'm going to just try to make sure if this thing's closing in, I'm going to keep defending him while he's helping me. So he's kind of dragging me away. I'm trying to defend him.
You're flailing away.
2. Pow. Nice. Okay.
Now, this thing's swinging. This thing comes in close. And when it comes in close with his mouth open to bite, you clock it side to head. And it veers off and takes 2 staggers and lands right beside you, just trying to reach out and pull up this thing. So this guy he just watches this because he had pivoted around and tried to grab you underneath, pull you halfway out of the mud that you was in while he's sinking himself.
Right.
And he sees this fall and he's, oh my gosh. All right. So swing, roll one time for his body. Okay.
Yep. It's critical error 20.
Okay. Now where he was trying to pull you out fully to get you standing up. All right. When he slips totally, falls down in the mud, you fall on him. He had been pulling you from the back.
Sure.
He finally pulls you up like that.
And we both fall back.
Fall on him, and he just, and you're scrambling up, and you see just the mud and all the fluids or whatever like that. You just impaled him into this mud. And it just goes around his eyes and covers in, and he starts to scream. Then all the mud goes in his mouth.
Okay.
You see his arms kicking out. You see his hands and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they start going under the mud. And you feel him start to slide and his body break away underneath you.
Okay.
But at least he's providing some kind of a stable foundation for you.
Okay.
Right now, the other one is still at your rear as you watch this all happening.
Yeah, so is there anything of his I can grab hold of so I can pull him out of this? I mean, is he literally sunk under, gone?
He's pretty much, I'd say he's about 80% of the way. Right now, it's covering around him, and he opens his mouth, and you still see his eyes blinking, but he's rapidly descending. I mean, if you don't, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
He's already in the water.
I'm torn. I've got to defend us from this final creature.
Yeah, this creature's coming at you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try to kill. I mean, I can't help him if I'm fighting a creature, so I got to kill this creature first. So I turn on this creature. 1 though, critical success.
Okay. Well, tell me how you dispatch this thing.
So as I see him sink, and again, I'm foggy headed. For the first time in my life, I'm not praying, and I'm not talking to my God and the Sacred Mother, and I look back at this thing grasping for me, and come down screaming, unholy terror, anger and rage, and just obliterate its head from its shoulders.
Okay, where once was a head, you got a mace, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that mace remains. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it's nothing but encased in the remains of that shell of it,
right.
Of a head, and all the matter and everything that was inside the rotted matter spews up and splashes you in the face. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, you've never felt more satisfied mm-hmm. in your life from doing that. And you catch yourself like that as you hear his final, right. And then he's under the mud. Okay.
Yep.
You see, he does have that weapon that he had. His sword mm-hmm. is halfway. His point is half the sword is pointed up and out.
Yeah.
Hilt is all the way inside.
Yeah.
Still in his hands, and it shudders and stops.
Okay. I reach down where his wrist would be. So I'll leave the mace in the mud where I crushed its head. Drop my shield on the other side and dive into the mud, reaching for his wrist of the end of that. So wherever his sword's at, I'm going to reach for the wrist in the mud.
Yeah.
And start trying to pull him out via that arm.
Okay. Go ahead and try.
19.
Oh, that certainly did not do it. You do, but he's stuck. Like it's like trying to pull up a tree right now.
Right. Okay.
For the way his body entered that, and the mud flow is still coming and still covering.
I look about quickly for the other guy, the other one who was helping the Creel, and say, "Come, help your friend quickly! Get!"
Okay, you don't see them.
I mean, so they're not around. So I'm looking around, yelling for them.
Yeah, they seem to be gone. There's swells. You hear more sounds similar to the ghastly wells that were coming out of these creatures, and out of the pit, you can still hear slapping sounds as one more arm comes over and it tries to pull itself out. It's almost like a welcome sight to you for some reason, mm-hmm. With your mindset the way it is right now. They're gone. They run off.
Okay. I've got his. I'm trying to pull him out, and then I realize I'm not going to be able to do it. So I pry the sword from his hand, and I push his hand where his chest would be, like fold his hand down where his chest was supposed to be. Turn and grab my shield up with this sword and start to back away, get as far away from this hole, this hole from hell, this dredge hell hole.
Okay, it takes you roll a body to see how fast you can do that.
10. Body's 1, so 11 would be my range.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. It was contested in a small way, but you actually make it to, you find a purchase of ground that is stable, mm-hmm. and it seems to be away from the main flow of the mudslide. Mm-hmm. So you've gotten out of there. You do see uh, uh, tracks and a bit of uh, it's over where you had first called them from. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you made it in that general area and find it's more solid land over there, even though it's kind of swampy,
Sure.
but it's not a mudslide.
It's not in
So
this. Yeah. Right.
yeah, so you did that. You can't see. You do see. Roll a mind for me. Let's say, well,
17 with a -1 mind.
yeah. You see some tracks and some little broken bits and whatever like that, but there's not much to go on at all as far as any further. But you recognize where they were and where they were looking for him and where they were batting away and hacking at some of the stuff,
Mm-hmm.
the brush. But you lose sight of where they might would have went, and there's no evidence, footprints. So you're standing out in the middle of this thing.
Yeah, it's dark. I mean, and it's dark. So I'm going to get as far away from that battle scene as
Yeah,
I can. Find a spot that's firm and far enough away, maybe among the trees, etc. I will first try to make a fire, and I will get out my canteen. I will tear loose, or I will drop my trousers and look at this wound once I get a fire started.
yeah.
I want to take a look at this bite.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
Okay. 7.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, find a suitable area. It's a little bit um, high, backing on a flat rock that's wedged up against the tree. So you set your back to it
Mm-hmm.
and lay out your
Mm-hmm. I
you know
set this new
your
sword. I drive this sword into the mud, set it up beside me, take out my pack. First, tent and flinder, grab up as much dry and maybe brush away ground and try to get a little fire started. And then again, I will get out my canteen and look at this wound.
it
Once I get some light going.
Yeah, it kindles and provides a little light for you, and the rock that you're on is sanitary enough to where you're not sunk in mud.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To where you can tear your clothes off and
Mm-hmm.
get a good look at this. I want you to roll a spirit.
Okay, my spirit's currently at -1, 16.
16. Okay. Your eyes blur, and every time you look at it, it seems to be festering.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these images of some kind of festering. You see maggots on the inside of it. You
Mm-hmm.
see
Mm-hmm.
this black ethereal,
Mm-hmm.
ichor coming rolling out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like your blood is black coming out of it, but the wound seems pronounced and almost throbbing as you look at it. Okay,
Right, right,
it's about mouth size on both,
right.
and it's torn out a huge section of your leg like that,
Sure.
right? And after you brush the mud off and look at it, but that's what you're looking at right now.
At this point, I'll just pour a little clean water in it, despite the horrors that I see, and then I will tie. If I have to, I'll tear off some of my tunic and tie it around the wound and knot it, and then pull my trousers back up. Again, with my spirit at -1, I'm not even I'm not praying, and I'm not asking the Lord to save me. It's like I've my mind and my spirit are solely on survival right now.
Yeah, you have an awareness. You haven't forgot your history. You have awareness about that, and I don't want to. I'm just saying these impulses that I'm telling you, you don't have to act on, but there's a what spring up into mind whenever you're, kind of fighting this rage. Whether or not you feel satisfaction or not, you recognize the fact that you did for some reason.
Okay.
So you know that you're tainted in some way.
Okay.
All right. All right.
At some point, then I would just probably pass out from fatigue, exhaustion.
Okay.
At this campfire.
Okay. You do. I guess laying up at night and worrying about some of this, you finally just pass out from the exhaustion, like you're saying. Now, at some point in time, there are voices that awake you, or seeming voices. And when you crack your eyes open, you can see off in the distance, you can see 3 torches kind of moving through the swampish, now swamp-like area.
Okay.
All right.
How far can I tell?
It's probably about it's not that far away from you, about 50 foot or so.
Are they coming my direction?
Now they're going past you.
How big is my campfire? When I fell asleep, where's my campfire now when I wake up?
Your campfire is almost kindled out.
Good. I will kick dirt and mud over it to kill it completely.
Yeah.
And then I'll sink down low into the ground and listen.
Now you're on that little table rock, so you kick those embers and everything, and they slide off, and you hear them burn away in the mud.
And then I just lay low, and watch these torches pass until I pass out again or sleep again.
Okay. You can hear little voices off in the distance that you can't really make any kind of sense of what they're saying, but you can tell it's men, and they seem to be talking, but traveling in some fashion. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they pass on by, and you want to go back to sleep till morning light, or
yeah,
what?
I'm just gonna. I'll eventually.
It seems to be about the middle of the night right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My goal is to sleep.
Okay. You do, and you wake up in the morning as the sun. You're covered in the dew, the early dew. There's a chill. The fog lingers thick in the air around here. It's almost like a bog like right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you can't see really that far or this early in the morning. It's limiting your vision.
Sure.
So
I'll get up and pack all my gear up, and I'll wait until there's some kind of break in the fog, so I can maybe tell what direction I'm facing.
okay,
If I have to, I'll sit here for a while.
There, you're kind of chilly a little bit. I don't know if you want to start a fire or what, but
No, I would just get out my blanket and be wearing my blanket over me, sitting on this rock, waiting for a break in the fog.
Sitting on that table rock, waiting it in his good position. You hear all the. It's like in the silence, you can hear magnified all the little insects and everything moving around. Magnified. It's gotten real quiet. There is. Okay. There is, as you're sitting there for that long, roll a mind for me.
8 with my -1 even.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you're looking around, you're paranoid, your eyes jutting everywhere, and this silence is almost deafening, right? And you look down there and you catch sight of a branch not too far away that has been cleaved off. You tell it's a relatively fresh cleave. And you look down and you see where it seems to be the handle of a bag, basically the strap of some kind of a bag, this halfway out. And you can see a corner of the bag is sunk into the swamp-like area. And this is no more than 7 foot off the rock.
Okay.
Okay.
I will pack my back. I mean, I'll roll my blanket back up and tie it to my pack. Grab that sword out of the mud, and stick it in my belt. And I will walk over to this with all my gear and inspect this pack.
Okay.
this thing.
And you get it. It's relatively easy to remove out of the mud with a slosh, but not mud, but nevertheless just the watery area, and it's covered with with insects, little millipedes and grubs and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to brush off. And you open up, what you find on the inside is some kind of a is something with an inscription on it. It's a black wooden plank. And you don't know if it's black because a lot of these trees around here have a black density with the thing from it, but it's like a black plank, and it's torn off. It's just a piece of wood,
Mm-hmm.
but it looks like it has some kind of inscription
Mm-hmm.
in it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's kind of caked right now. But anyway, roll your spirit.
9.
9. Okay. It's not that hard to distinguish. You do realize the inscription is part of. You do realize that it's a true relic from the inscription.
Mm.
It's an ancient that one of the saintly sisters
Mm-hmm.
had been bound and stoned inside of a rack, and
Mm-hmm.
and they had carved her supposed sin on it.
Mm.
She was later attained sainthood, and that section
Mm.
of that is a part of the missing device that held her.
Mm.
Remember right now what the device is?
Sure, stockade or
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So
Yeah, I'll look at that, brush it off, make heads or tails of it, set it, and then look to see if there's anything else in this pack.
okay. Now it seems to be that's pretty much it. Yeah.
I pull it up, and I take out my blanket and lay it out on the rock, and I put this relic right smack in the middle of this wool blanket, and I'll roll it up in the wool blanket, secure it, and then tie that back to my pack.
Now that was the first time that you felt the reverence and the holiness kind of come back to you.
Mm-hmm.
You recognize what this was, and it kind of got you back in touch with what you really are.
Okay.
Even though it seems like your nature's warring a little bit right now.
Okay. Right.
Your wound does ache.
Yeah.
Hurt still. So, but nevertheless, it's what you see. Like I said, that part was cut off of that thing. You do see other cleaved areas going further off into the distance, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as being hacked away from the trees,
Mm.
okay? Carving a path away from you, away west, all right?
West toward the river dredge.
Yeah, toward the river dredge.
Mm.
Yeah. No, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
North
into the frontier. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So after I secure everything, get this relic secured in my blanket, tied to my pack, shield on my pack, sword in my waist.
Yeah, it veers northwest, but it's more so north, like northwest, basically.
All right, I will cautiously follow this impromptu trail that somebody's cut through. I will go slow and steady, trying to pay very close attention to any noises, any talking, any as I follow this bushwhacking that has gone on.
Yeah, this bushwhacking. You follow it. I want you to roll a body.
5. Nice.
Okay. You do stealthily enough. The ground's gotten more passable. You hear, see, it's breaking out. You hear voices, even a woman's voice intermixed with it, as well as several men. You see a campfire. You smell some kind of cooking, and you see a cart, what appears to be a horse, in a clearing up ahead. And it seems to be very dry comparatively.
Okay.
In that area.
I will slowly circle this camp until I can see where these people are at talking. In other words, where there would be a line of sight between me and them. I'll circle the camp until I see somebody or them.
Okay.
And once I can physically see them, I will stick my hands in the air and say, hello there, hello there. Excuse me.
One of them raises up and he has he automatically grabs a sword that was at his side. He was sitting there with his plate and he sets it down. He stands up. The other one is laid over in a cot to the side, and there's a woman that's sitting there and he was talking to him too. And she stops and turns cautiously and sets down her plate. You recognize the man as the guy who took
Krill
off. Thank you. Okay. And Krill's laying there in repose, passed out to the side. And he's still sitting there. What? You made it out alive. Where's Smith?
Smith.
What happened to Smith?
Smith was killed by the creatures.
I thought he followed us. I thought I lost sight of him. The creatures.
He died helping me defend you as you escaped.
He died. Oh. And then the woman starts breaking out crying, right? And he runs over there and halfway holds her just this. Calm yourself. And then he kind of takes her thing and pats her eyes or whatever. We should talk elsewhere. And then he walks over toward you and beckons you on the other side of the wagon. The beast, what were they? What were those creatures?
They were not beasts. They were corrupted corpses. They were not beasts. They were men. They were men who have not cursed men, vile undead men.
I told Smith. Krill, this is all his fault. And he looked spitefully over in the corner. We had what we needed. We just have to make it to London.
London is far. It's far off east. What is there in London for you?
Yes, that is where our destination lies.
Then you have a long way to go. You best get underway.
Okay. He notices something. We have without Smith, I don't know if we can secure and then he notices something about you. All right. He looks down and he backs away and he's grabbing his hand over that. All right. And he's pointing at you directly. Like he slid it out. He's pointing at that little that package you got, that pouch with the handle.
Okay.
All right. That is not yours. Give it to us.
This is a holy relic. What good is it of yours?
Indeed, it is ours. We're taking it to the church
Oh, you are holy men like I am.
He looks side to side. Yes, indeed. Now roll your spirit.
7.
Okay. With the negative, you could tell that. You can tell by his demeanor, his stature, the way he doesn't reference anything that it's not. You don't get that vibe from it. Even in your fuzzy moments, you don't really add up. Okay. All right. And the little attributes of his sword, everything. So yes, I am. Hand it over. Hand it over. We have to take it to the church.
The whole
Church,
time
he's
I've
getting
been
agitated.
the whole time, when I approached him, I was like this. When he
Okay.
called me over, I relaxed my posture.
Posture.
But at this point, my hand goes on the sword hilt, and I look him in the eye, and I say, "There is a reason. The good Lord has taken your friend, almost killed Creel, and the hell has opened up about Dredgewater. You disgrace, you blaspheme this holy relic."
Okay, roll your prestige right now.
2. Woo!
Okay. He starts to say, "You would." It's because of you vile, and then he's stumbling over his words. He stops and says, what are you to do with it? You yourself, look at you. You're in no condition to take this to the church. You're going to be taking it somewhere else. It doesn't belong. We need to take it to the church. Me, I've got a cart, a woman, a man. I need to get to the church too.
Then I will accompany you, but I will carry the relic. We will see what this church is. I will see where you deliver the relic. If it is indeed a holy church, I would gladly hand it over to a legitimate church.
Okay, he's starting to back up a little bit, and he halfway puts down his sword. It looks like something's going through his mind. He goes, yes, join us. Join us. We could use an extra man. We can. We've lost Smith, have we not? Yes, we shall go together. Let's do this. Come, eat.
And the woman there, is she as skilled in medicine, in healing, and herbs?
Yes, she's skilled in herbs.
Then I would ask you to send her to me.
She's right yonder. Come, sit about the fire. Get you something to eat.
I will find a spot opposite them and sit. I will try to get her eye contact. What is your name, lady?
Okay. She seems her crying was more of a wailing. You sort of mistook, because she seems to be doing it throughout the time around the camp. She's going, "Oh, well, my name is Cirrus." And she's looking up at the sky, like waving her hand through the moon or whatever. He looks, you hold a Tate. Sit. Give him food. And you're sitting down, and Jethriah, giving food, Jethriah. And he walks over, and he had already been going to grab you a plate or something, right? And he kind of hands it to you like that. Take, eat. She will tend your wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then she grabs your legs and straightens it out and starts clawing and pulling off the bandage. Right? She looks at it, and then this kind of creepy smile comes along her face. And she reaches down and she flexes the wound and looks at it. I'll be back. I will return. You eat. And then she kind of scuttles off, and you hear sloshing through she goes off the dry patch into a little boggish area. Mm-hmm. And she starts, after a while, he's sitting there and he's just kind of looking at you and eating. Mm-hmm. And every once in a while, smile. Yes, we'll take the relic. Mm-hmm. What church do you hail from?
The Sacred Mother Temple.
No,
and you?
Well, the church in London. In London, yes.
God-fearing church?
Yes, indeed. It's from London. It's the greatest church. The Church of the One.
Mm.
We'll take it yonder. This relic, as you say, it's quite fetch quite a price. Then he kind of catches himself. Mm-hmm. A little bit later, she rummages in, and she's got this mortal and pestle, and she's got these leaves and she's grinding it up or whatever, and she's got this. Um, she's pouring water in it, making a mixture. You see her kind of, she's looking at you, and she comes over. She goes, "Drink, drink." And she's got this. She takes the mortar, and she has this leaf that she bends over the end. Pulls the bandage back down. Drink, drink now.
I'll slosh it and smell it.
And she's taking her hand and trying to upturn it towards your mouth.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and drink it.
You need this, okay? You drink it, and she starts rubbing that leaf inside the wounds or whatever. And she's digging in with her hands. Her hands are nasty anyway, but she's rubbing in, and you can feel this stinging pain. It's like what you're drinking is kind of numbing you right now, and your ears are ringing a little bit, and you get really relaxed and you lay back. All right, it's kind of, you can't really take it now. It's naturally happening to you, but I want you to roll your body.
8.
Okay. You resist if you like, as much as you like. You're capable of doing that. Okay.
No, I mean, at this point, I'm desperate to have this wound healed, and so I have no choice but to trust that she is that she has my best interest at heart. So I trust her.
Maybe it was an unnecessary role, but at least she gave you the mindset that, you know, whatever state you're in, you have the ability to. So you just let it kind of take you. Right? That's what you're telling me. And she's rubbing, and you see her in the thing, and you fall back asleep. All right. You wake up in the same state, and she's over at the side, and she's cooking some more stuff at the thing. You seem to be just where you were, but where you had still had that, and it was on your lap. That relic is not there right now. He's still sitting over there eating. Don't be alarmed. We put it in the wagon for safekeeping. How do you feel?
Groggy, and I'll flex my leg, look at the bandaging or the wound. What has she done to it? And mostly see if I'm starting to feel myself again.
Yeah, you do. You're clearing up. You feel like you got much needed good rest. It seems to be early morning, so you must have slept all night, and they're having breakfast right now. Krill is still, he's halfway awake. He's looking through eyes over at you slanted. And he'll look up at Jethriah, look back over at you, but he's not making too much of a a show. And she does that, and then she comes over and she slides a plate of food. Eat. You need your strength.
Yeah, and
the wound is healing good.
I'll gobble it down. Yeah.
Yeah, the wound is healing good, and she pulls back the bandages and lets you see it. And it looks to be it's still festering with maggots, but it's a little bit smaller. And
I say to her, "Do you see maggots there, woman?"
Yes, I use them to clean the wound.
I needed to confirm I was not hallucinating. There are maggots there.
Yes, there was maggots when you first came. Still, they're good. Leave them in there. They'll clean the wound. It's good. And did the potion work well? It put you out. And she goes back and here's some more. I'll get you something to drink. And she goes over there. But you can tell she's always like concocting something or looking around and pulling off herbs and spices and whatever like that and making stuff, busying herself constantly. busybody. All right, so you sit there and eat with him if you're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And Jethriah gets up and he walks over there and he's picking up stuff and he's starting to throw it in the cart. We shan't tarry. The day has begun. Should get on the road for London town. All right, so he's now helping Krill up, and he's laying him back in the back of the cart.
Mm-hmm.
And the horse, there's a little bit of a seating thing in front
Mm-hmm.
to do the horse, and then he lifts the girl up, and he looks at you and he's, "Are you coming? Are you going to lay about?"
I'll stand gingerly and put weight on my wound, see how my leg feels, grab up my gear. I walk over to him and I say, lead the way.
Okay. Now take a one back.
Okay.
Or heal a wound. And you do feel that burning sensation. And when you noticed when you looked at it, it wasn't having that black ichor.
Okay.
And whatnot. So there was no pulsating.
Okay.
It was just a wound. Okay. But the only thing that was reminiscent was that there was still maggots there.
Where am I at on my mind and spirit?
Okay. They are back to normal.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Good. That woman of yours, I feel much better. I will be of aid to you on this long journey to London.
Yes, some color a witch, but she works well for our purposes.
Mm-hmm.
She knows what she does.
The Sacred Mother works in mysterious ways. The witch is blessed.
Indeed. Glad to see you approve. Okay, and y'all are riding for a while on this, okay? You're having to walk along, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The woman's doing that with the cart. Y'all walking along. You go through. They've managed to find some kind of a trail. They're gonna have to skirt around. Jethriah's. We can't pass. We can't pass through. Down south through Dredgewater.
Right.
We've got to go through the northern areas. Some flood has taken it out, obviously. You saw that.
Mm-hmm.
We're scouting about an area. But we'll make it through. Just travel north. Keep your wits about you.
Mm-hmm.
This area is a bit untamed as he's going. So he's walking along. There is for most of the day, other than you've got the sword too, he beckons you to kind of cut way through because you're having to have a makeshift.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small wagon, but you're still having to cut through.
Then I'll take off my backpack and throw it in the wagon.
Okay.
Keep my shield over a shoulder, and with two hands carve through some of this.
Yeah, you do see a relic. This back there. Okay, so he wasn't lying about that. You did catch that.
Mm-hmm.
You're going through this for the majority of the day. You've been sweating despite the cooler weather.
Sure.
You're actually thankful for the cooler weather.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the ground seems to be more stable than not. Even though sometimes in the clearing of the forest you can look out and you can see where the off the rise
Mm-hmm.
that flood had came in and washed everything and Dredgewater out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're skirting around that. And there is a time where he stops. You see Jethriah. He's a little bit ahead of you. And he reaches up his hand and goes like that. He goes, down.
Yeah, and I'll drop to one knee and look at him. What is it?
Yonder.
And wherever he points, I'll look.
Perhaps that's our next meal. You see it, and you look and you see a boar. After he's pointing it out,
Mm-hmm.
you see a huge boar over in the
Mm-hmm.
corner. All right. Shall we? And then he beckons back to the cart, and there's actually he reaches in and he grabs a spear.
Mm-hmm.
You handy with this. And
Yeah, and I slide my sword back into my belt, grab this spear. I'll pull a shield. I'll pull the shield down though. Still, just all the same.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Now I want y'all to, if you're going to approach this thing, because this.
well, I'm gonna get. I just want to position myself in such a way I can get a clean shot to throw this spear into it.
Okay. And he says, "I'll work my way around. Work it towards you. You go with a spear. Hit it when it comes through.
Mm.
Stay here. All right."
Yeah.
Now I'm. Okay. You give me a roll.
10.
Okay. For too long, you see him working around the area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boar doesn't seem to be noticing him
Mm-hmm.
as of yet. Okay. He makes his move and starts this board right towards you. Right.
Yep.
So it's coming hard and fast. Jockeying through there is a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. You don't know if it's going to veer to your left or your right. I want you to roll your body.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 17.
Oh no. No. This thing shoots right by you. Okay.
Right. With my spear.
Yeah. And you
It's
just
like, oh shit.
you buffet it like it's your spear.
Right.
It's away and it crashes through the
Mhm.
underbrush and everything. He goes off and squeals. Jethriah comes up beside you. You fool! Why didn't you hit it? You fool! And he hits up your shield like that.
Mm.
Did I tell you to hit it? We've lost.
It was much faster than I've never boar hunt before. And then I'll turn and start to chase it through the woods.
That would have. It's gone now. You're off running like that, but he's obviously ticked off.
Yeah,
right?
I'll run for a few paces, maybe 30 yards or so before I realize I'll never catch it.
Yeah.
And then I'll walk back to the wagon.
He's there. He's kind of ticked off.
Mhm.
They've already left off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're moving.
Yeah. You catch up with the wagon. There is. Okay. There is. You go through the rest of the evening. Jethriah hasn't said much of all to you yet, right? I mean, as far as the rest of the evening,
Mm-hmm.
and you get there to the night, you can attest that you've come out of the wood line
Mm-hmm.
on the further end of Dredgewater and
Mhm.
drop down into a clearing, right?
Okay.
No surprise announcement. The woman is muttering to herself constantly, right?
Okay. Yeah.
As all this is going along, but there's been no talk to you whatsoever. There is before you break out the wood line, you see right on the other side it's a clearing and it kind of breaks out into open fields. Before you see something strange. It's not moving. It looks to be a figure off in the distance. He doesn't seem to make any kind of notion toward it, and y'all going right toward it, but you see it standing there amongst the tree line, right? So, but it hasn't moved so far. Get up on it closer, and you recognize it's a statue.
Mm.
All right, the statue's standing there, and it's pointing off in the distance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Arm, and it's got his holy symbol in his hand, clutched to his breast. It's pointing off in the distance.
Mm.
It's pointing northward.
Do I recognize whether this is a
Go ahead and roll your spirit.
20 critical error?
Critical error.
Gee, Merry Christmas.
No, yeah, you recognize it as when you're looking at it. When you're looking at it,
This is blasphemy. This isn't even real.
Yeah,
I think it's blasphemy.
Yeah, yeah. You think it's a work of blasphemy? Of
Right. This
blasphemy.
is pagan. How dare they try to insult us?
Paganistic. When you look at the holy symbol, it's in direct opposition to your God, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's pointing off, and it's got this smirk on his face,
Mm-hmm.
this cowl around itself,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pointing off and holding this symbol. It has it's grown and threaded through with reeds, not reeds, but vines all the way up the body. So it looks very old, right?
Okay.
But it is statuesque.
Look at
Anyway,
this pagan symbolism. This better not be the symbols of the church you're taking this relic to.
but nay, we head east.
Not before I deface this relic. And I'll walk around it looking for whether it can be tipped over.
You be a fool, and he runs up to you like that.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't mess with.
We cannot leave this pagan idol set undisturbed. It's
Pagan or not, it oversees this forest. Destroy it. No, what will become of us? And he's getting upset at you.
Jethriah, you do what you must. I do what I must. You claim to be a man of the church.
Yes, but I know better than to tempt fate.
Then drive on in your wagon. I will catch up.
Do as you must.
And I'll put a shoulder into this thing and try to drive. I'm gonna look for if it's.
You hear him call you fool under his breath as he turns around and leaves. All right. So he's in the wagon right now, and you're trying to push this thing.
Yeah, and
right?
I'm praying to the Sacred Mother the whole time that I'm trying to topple this thing.
Yeah. Okay. Now, while you're trying to topple this thing, there is roll me a body.
14.
Now this thing is man size, okay?
Yeah.
14. All right. 14. Okay, you put your shoulder into this thing and you push a little bit and it crumbles off like almost chalky residue, right?
Mm-hmm.
So inside the vines, which encase it, it crumbles out, right?
Okay.
Like that. And it seems to be where you fairly crumbly. You know what I mean? It's not giving you too much of a thing. So with a good shoulder push, you've knocked off some of it.
Okay. I'll tie my rope around it, and I'll step away, and I'll pull with all. I put all my weight, driving my feet backward, and I'm gonna try to put the rope around the top end where I can get leverage as I try to back away, pulling from the top.
Okay. You back away, pulling from the top. You wrap it around the head, right?
Yeah, shoulders, head area. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it does, and it crumbles inside, and the head like that, and the head's caught in all these vines and everything. It kind of stays there and slaggers to the side a little bit, and the neck breaks through, and the shoulders crumble off, and it starts crumbling a little bit. All right. Now,
what's happened to this pointing finger? This pointing arm?
It's still out. It's still out there. Okay.
Okay.
So, nevertheless, I mean, but you've managed to take off a bit of his side when you did the push, and then like its neck, its head is still kind of encased in the vines that have been wrapped in, but the neck portion just crumbled, and as well as the shoulder point, but the arm is still, even though it's detached a little bit, it's still kind of there, right?
Yep. I will take my rope down, tie it back to my pack, approach what's left of this, and I will use my my sword to hack at this arm that's outstretched. I want to basically deface it and get this pointing finger removed, or this pointing arm.
Okay. Now you can hit this thing. All right. And when you do, Roll for effect.
5.
Okay. This arm, when you hit it, it breaks in two. It sags, it cracks, it comes down. The rest of the statue starts twisting and crumbling from the top down, all right, as it spirals out.
Okay.
And what I mean by spiraling out, the vines that have encased this thing spiral out as it's broken away and start whipping out towards you and grab you all over. They're whipping all over you right now. I want you to roll, roll a body.
19.
Okay. These things have grabbed a hold of each side of you, starting to encase you and drag you into
okay.
center of them. Okay. It does sting somewhat. There seems to be thorns on the vines as well, biting into you, and it's pulling you right in. Take a wound for that.
Okay. I'm at 5, so I'm at 4. Okay.
They're threading around your body right now, more of them, and they've let go of that and starting to encircle you. Roll another prompt.
Critical error, 20.
A critical error. Gee whiz. Okay, this thing has totally kind of these vines are almost like going up into your clothing and around you and just being very invasive and circling you, and it's dragging you right up, and it's like almost controlling your movements, and it's standing you up like that as you feel it go around your face and everything. All right. Take another wound as it's digging into your leg, all the thorns.
Okay. Of course, wincing in pain, I am praying to the Sacred Mother and our Lord that this you cannot allow this pagan creature to you cannot forsake me to this pagan creature.
Okay, we'll go ahead and roll your spirit on that.
3.
3. Okay. Now you see, this is very horrendous. These vines wrapping you. You feel the blood trickling down. They're starting to wrap around your face and encase you, and then you notice that you feel a little bit of where you were like totally like stock still. You realize you hear a crack a little bit when you're praying the prayer, and you move a little bit, and it has an old you can see that the vine itself is starting to look withered and browning and cracking a little bit, so it gives you a little bit of leeway to move. Okay. So it seems to be affecting it in some way.
Okay.
Now, do now.
As I feel that, I begin to pray louder. Sacred Mother, it works. Do not forsake me. The Lord, we are here to change this world for you and the Lord.
Roll.
Oh, roll. I'm sorry. 7.
7. Okay. You do, and the vine seemed to be even weakening further, and receding off of you.
Okay.
Almost like they're having some kind of, being repulsed by you itself. So they're starting. A couple of them slap out and grab nearby branches and different things and start moving them in different rocks. And the ones around you that are immediately touching you on the side that they're touching you, they're starting to brown and get brittle and break away.
Okay.
And they break away like that. Now, you're fully around you, but they're kind of splayed out in this big display around you, but they're reaching for other things. Almost like they're trying to pull themselves away. And you're in the center, and you finally drop down, and you're right in the middle. What are you doing?
At this point, I will continue to pray, but I will try to jump from the center out beyond these tentacles,
Yeah,
these
gotcha.
vines. You want body or spirit?
Um, Give me a roll for each. All right.
Okay, so body is 13. That's a failure. Spirit, though, 12. And that's right on. Spirit is plus 2 or 2. So
Not with a negative. So,
right, right.
yeah. When you
Well,
jump,
now am I still in a negative? I was back to normal.
no, I'm talking about the CV.
Oh, CV. I'm
Right.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Misunderstood. Yeah.
comparatively. All right. So when you do hit, um, these things reflexively, it's like whenever something moves, it
Right.
strikes it.
Right.
I mean, so it's striking at you. You jump, but you kind of hit on all fours. It's staggering. You do have your sword in your hand. Show you never let those go. You was kind of seized up in the moment, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you jump out, you stumble on the ground, fall. There's a couple of them that grab your ankles,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them grabs your left wrist, the other one grabs your ankle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's you can tell it's crumbling and burning, but they're still pulling almost reflexively, just
Sure.
anything. So what?
Is that a wound?
Yeah, that would be a wound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Praying to the Sacred Mother. Do not yet, Sacred Mother. We are not finished with this creature. And at this point, I'll actually stop resisting, and I'll spin toward it onto a knee, in a prayer position as it pulls on me, praying.
Okay. All right.
3 would be my spirit roll.
Okay. 3. These things, when you stop moving, they pull back a little bit or relax their grip, and it's more so they're still inflamed a little bit and get brittle, and you can tell even the little leaves that are on them are withered up and shriveled, and the vines are, and they recess from you, giving you a little avenue out right then and there.
Yeah, and I stand continuing to pray aloud, backing away from its reach, outside of its range. Looking at my handiwork of bringing this statue down. And at some point, I will sit down on the ground and drink from my canteen, as I am in bad shape.
Yeah,
Realizing how cut up I am, how wounded I am.
you're outside of the range of the splayed vine tendrils whipping around. They're still whipping around,
Mm-hmm.
and this powdery mound of concrete-like material that's decomposed in the center of them and piled out. So that's what you see. And the only thing that's probably left is that sword which fell outside of the range. I mean, not sword, but the arm that fell outside of the range and tumbled outside of it.
Okay.
And even they're trying to reach after that, but
Okay.
almost within. But nevertheless, you take a minute. It's that happened really quick.
Right.
Quick. But you don't hear Jethriah or the wagon. You could see where it exits out of the forest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the little route they took. You know where they took it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right near the clearing.
Once I drink from my canteen, I'll pack it away, and then I'll get up and I'll make in the direction the wagon went, a double time trying to catch up.
Okay. You do. It's fairly, once you get out of the wood line and you go past the tree break, you can see off in the distance, you hear the woman wailing, the wailing witch. All right. And the cart seems to have tipped over on its side, and she's laying down by, rocking back and forth, throwing up her arms or whatever, and beating the ground and whatnot. And he seems to be laying there. He's pinned down by the wagon.
Okay.
The wheel has fallen off and fallen. Obviously, the wagon has fallen over onto him.
Right.
The krill has fallen out of the wagon too and lays over to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he's not moving.
Okay.
But you see that old boy is trapped about his waist, right?
Okay.
So this
I approach the backside of the wagon. I'll look into the wagon. I pull the spear out and I reach in and grab the relic. And
still wailing. help us, help me. He's glassy eyed and just looking there. You could
And I'll so after I pick up the bundle of relic and grab the spear, I will back away, and I will turn headed east.
okay. She's wailing and she's going, you leave us like this. You're the work of the evil one. And she's like laughing and cackling.
And as I walk off east with this and the spear, I look up praying, Sacred Mother, have mercy on their souls.
Now, you did notice, before we wrap it up, that his body, you can see the life going out of his eyes. His body had almost been cut in half from the wagon hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you leave the wailing witch beating the ground with little flower things like that. And
praying to the Sacred Mother to have mercy on their souls.
Yeah, you're walking off. Mm-hmm. And that's where we will.
Nice.
Out.
Awesome.
All right. Second test. Second test.
That was outstanding. Real quick before, so we can take a break before we start with Todd. What did you think?
Oh, it was good. It was good, man. I mean, I was having to adjust a little bit on the fly for the little way I'm doing the seed differently. But it wasn't that much, you know. Now it was good.
Yeah, it was. Did you feel it felt very natural, very intuitive?
Yeah. I mean, I love playing in the naive narrator state of mind, even the imposition.
Yep.
Natural. It was really. You did a lot more seeds. I rolled a lot more seeds with this way, you know. But I think I had a little bit more conceptual leeway.
Right.
Or at least for me to have because I didn't know, that. Literally, the last one was wagon.
Right. Awesome.
You know what I mean?
Because it doesn't have to be weighted. It can just be a phrase or a word that sparks you to have a right.
Yeah, the other one before that was statue.
Mm-hmm.
So just me describing the statue, and I said the vines were wrapped up, led to the fact that the vines were upholding this thing, and that part of the pagan.
And this is part of it. You don't know how the players will react to whatever, and that can sometimes give it a different value.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it as a pagan. I mean, I had a critical error role in investigating it, so I could have been wrong. It could have been the Sacred Mother's. You know, I was utterly wrong, but I was determined to destroy it at that point, right?
Well, and especially it informed me the danger level that I rolled, but also I find that I don't necessarily because the danger is kind of quantified in what you're rolling.
Yeah, I mean, when I roll a critical error, boom, that thing becomes a monster.
Yeah, and I was like,
I mean, it's perfect. The critical error says, oh, it's not just a pagan statue; it's a freaking monster. It's awesome.
This was something that somebody could have put a statue there just to keep that thing occupied.
Yeah.
Or either not, or it could have been. Who knows? It could have been.
Doesn't matter. This is the whole point of fantasy. There does not have to be a description, right?
Yeah, because I could have would have went anyway.
I mean, if you stop to say where do trolls come from, I mean, you could do this with everything ever in fantasy.
That could have been a real person with the thorns that had injected something that petrified him, or which way you want to go with it. That's the beauty of it. And all range from a statue and a negative 20 roll.
Now you rolled. Now, do you normally do this? Because you've run this kind of before with your family. Do you usually call for that? Because you asked for a lot more rolls than I did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, I actually.
I mean, I don't care. I was just curious.
That's one thing that I'll have to figure out. You know, that as far as.
Well, every GM's different. I was thinking maybe I should be calling for more rolls. Maybe.
I think I call when I need a prompt, and like I said, I was calling for more because I was more vague in my descriptions.
Right.
So therefore, I needed some kind of a juice.
And that's what's great about Naive Narrator, because you can call for more to prompt you, or. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, so
that's what I mean. I was very vague, and I had those roles, but I found that when I was playing, I was using your roles to inform the danger level as well.
Right.
Because with the critical, and I was kind of using that almost as a scale. I don't know if it's right. That's what we're play testing for.
Oh, I think that should be like I did the other day when you had a critical error trying to convince the guard to let you into Fledgling Town in the middle of the night. That decided the fate of the king. That roll really unrelated, but it's set in my head. This is so bad that it kind of decided the fate of the prince, right?
That's what I'm experiencing too.
Mm-hmm.
And like when you was on that table rocking, I just rolled tracks.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the word.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So and I had rolled Relic too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
yeah, see, and right now my character's thinking that at this point, because I was thinking, okay, I'm trying to see through the eyes of this very religious character, this zealot. Dredgewater has been swallowed by hell on earth, and there's this relic that maybe I'm supposed to save, or maybe, and these people flipping the wagon over and all this is all tied to their evil deeds with this religious relic. So I'm gonna take it, walk away, and let them to their fates, right?
Yeah, I know that was like that was.
I mean, I was gonna wait for my opportunity to steal it back anyway, but there it was. That was my opportunity.
That first one, I can't remember what the first seed was, but it was a damage level because it was on level separately 12, right? So I just conceptualized, wait a minute, it's like a sinkhole, this whatever because of the mudslide. I think, and then that's what you're being called in that situation. And then I also rolled monster in quotes, which could be anything.
Yeah.
Those are zombies, basically.
Yep, perfect.
Or, And I'm like, well, that's just where the people have been buried in Dredgewater.
Yep.
And because of this,
it used to be a cemetery that's now collapsed into a hole.
Yeah, or maybe the evil people in Dredgewater that died was coming out to get you because you're the holy man. So I could just simply
doesn't matter. There never has to be an explanation. You're a character in an adventure trying to survive.
I came in with zero thought.
Yeah.
I just said,
"Oh, hey, there's the man.
Hey.
What's up?"
Oh,